green women, green drinks, green planets. Beam me up, Scotty, we're going on an adventure! Welcome to 24th Century Earth, home to the distant future of Star Trek: The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager. It's a utopian society of spaceships, super technology, aliens, and a federation of planets that spans a quarter of the entire galaxy. For those of you not in the know, Star Trek is set in the perfect future of Earth. Famine and disease are gone, poverty is a thing of the past, and hope springs eternal. Earth is the center of a quadrant-spanning government known as the United Federation of Planets, consisting of hundreds of worlds and societies, with the intergalactic organization Starfleet acting as its military and exploration wing. Prominent members of Starfleet include Captains James T. Kirk and Jean-Luc Picard, the Vulcan Ambassador Spock, and the android Commander Data, all having served aboard the historically famous line of starships, the USS Enterprise. Pros. As a time and space tourist, this is probably going to be the easiest vacation destination you could plan. The world of Star Trek has everything you'd need and virtually none of the pitfalls of any other vacation spot. Visiting Budapest but you need to get to San Francisco or the moon? Zap! Matter energy transporters. No money? No problem, they don't even use it here. Broke your leg? Dermal regenerators. Forgot your cell phone? Pfft. The iPhone 50 came out centuries ago, they're probably using them as doorstops here. Just replicate whatever you'd like, and did I mention it's all free? There's no language barrier. With magical universal translator technology, you won't ever have to pull out your local phrase book when asking for directions. It will translate a language for you before you've even heard it. They even have an entire department of Starfleet that specializes in temporal affairs, so no one's going to burn you at the stake for being a time traveler. The point being, you could potentially drop into the middle of the street anywhere on the planet without even the clothes on your back, and by the end of the day you could be sipping a synthahol on the beach on the pleasure planet of Riza in your stylish beachwear and straw hat, chilling on a lounger next to a stack of gold bars and regaling the sexy green locals with tales of your backwards 21st century society. Cons. While the Earth of the 21st century is a paradise, this can potentially take out some of the thrill if you're a death-defying adventure seeker. It's very difficult to avoid much of the life-saving technology around. You can lose a leg and they'll grow you a new one. You can be dead from lethal radiation exposure, and there's a pretty good chance that you'll get an infusion of genetically engineered super blood to bring you back. Not that the future is utterly without its danger spots. While you'll have to travel hundreds of light years in any direction, once you leave the borders of the Federation, the galaxy takes on a very different light. There are plenty of hostile aliens and destructive galactic forces out there that can make short work of a battle-hardened starship, much less a clumsy sightseer taking snapshots. Cybernetic monstrosities such as the Borg, horrifying alien bugs like the Herc, and pitiless military forces like the Jem'Hadar, just to name a few. Even the Earth itself has been the target of attempted invasions and alien whale probes from time to time. But these events are extremely rare. As long as you stay inside the Federation, you'll find plenty to keep yourself occupied and entertained on your trip. Getting around. So, now that we know a little bit about what to expect 300 years from now, what are you going to need on your journey? The necessities of survival. As we mentioned, this will be the most laid-back, zero-effort trip you can make. Simply put, there are no necessities here. You won't need immunizations, survival skills, food gathering, water purification, or fire making here. Just find any computer terminal, tell it what you need, and you'll get it in a literal flash. Languages. The Universal Translator covers this. From German to Khoisan to Andorian to the language of blue whales, you'll be mingling and gabbing away like you've been a native speaker your whole life. Currency. Put away that wallet, you won't be needing it here. The Federation is a currency-free society. Sure, it might take away the thrill of winning big in Vegas or Monte Carlo when they pay you in Monopoly money, but in this world it's all about the journey. Disclaimer. Now, there are some alien societies that still use currency. Most notably are the massively eared Ferengi, who literally worship profit and use what's called gold-pressed latinum for everything ranging from food to using the elevator to sitting in a chair. Once you leave the borders of the Federation, you may find financial survival a little more challenging, so heads up. Travel. Getting from point A to point B on Earth is as simple as stepping through a transporter. One moment you're in Antarctica, the next you're in Cairo. If you've got a hankering to check out the far reaches of space, hop on your local shuttle for a quick jaunt or enjoy the amenities of a starship for a trip out to the deepest edges of the galaxy. Did we mention it's free? Customs. The primary mission of Starfleet is to seek out strange new worlds and new civilizations. Open-mindedness to customs and cultures is practically a way of life here, so you be you. No one's gonna judge or wag a finger at you for getting a handshake wrong. Clothing. This goes for your attire too. People walk the halls of starships dressed like Mark Twain or King Henry V without so much as a double take from anyone. You're not going to draw any attention with your tacky Hawaiian shirt and fanny pack. Blending in. The future of Star Trek is so advanced that you could probably walk up to a local coffee shop and ask for a bathroom accommodating time travelers, and they'll present you with optional toilet paper instead of the usual 3 seashells. Dangers. There are no highwaymen, no crime, no wild animals, and cars of the future are so advanced you won't have to worry about them running you over if you decide to take a stroll across a freeway. You can literally fall off the edge of El Capitan, and you can be sure to either find yourself beamed to safety, or at the very least rescued by a Vulcan in rocket boots. Any medical needs that do pop up will be taken care of for free, and any ailment of the human condition can be fixed with a tool or a pill. From headaches to broken spines to missing limbs to kidney replacement. To put it another way, there are virtually no dangers in the future, short of being vaporized, that can't be fixed. And we're off! Spaceships, aliens, Cajun food! Now that you've found your way here, you're going to want a first taste of what the world has to offer. While a lot of the sights of today have survived into the distant future, there are some big changes that you'll want to grab your camera for. As mentioned earlier, getting around anywhere on the planet is a breeze. Simply walk up to any computer terminal and ask where the nearest replomat is for whatever supplies you'd like for the trip, and then directions to the nearest transporter pad. Computers of this era are incredibly complex and can easily answer any and all questions you might have about virtually any topic. The only limitation on the replicator is to be polite if there's a line of people waiting to use it, so have a list ready beforehand. And of course, once you've gotten yourself acquainted with this fine era, plan your trip to outer space. As mentioned earlier, shuttlecraft no bigger than a van can easily carry you out of the stratosphere and around the local solar system, though you may want to go to the bathroom first. Culture and civilization. No species in the quadrant better embodies the principles of discipline, logic, and spiritual enlightenment than the Vulcans. Among the founding members of the Federation, their planet of the same name is a rocky red desert, perpetually hot and dry. Yet despite this, it is the home to great centers of learning and monasteries devoted to the pursuit of logic. For the more scientifically minded traveler, there is probably no location in the galaxy more suited to the pursuit of knowledge than the Vulcan Science Academy. Founded nearly 2,000 years ago and located in the heart of the Vulcan capital Shakar, this seat of advanced learning provides education on all scientific subjects imaginable. Considered to be the most rationally designed structure in the world, the Academy consists of a series of symmetrical silver-spired structures designed to combine logical elegance with three-dimensional sophistication, surrounding a desert oasis and providing a home for several thousand students and faculty members. Visitors are instructed not to engage with those present who are involved in studies, and are requested to refrain from disturbing the serenity with any displays of emotion under the penalty of being removed from the facilities. Unfortunately, monasteries are typically closed off to outsiders, but for those genuinely seeking true wisdom and enlightenment, monks at locations such as the Temple of Amonak or the Temple of Tepanit may be willing to make an exception. The wilds of nature. Like its people, the planet Konos is hardy and wild, teeming with both lush, expansive terrain, populated with some of the wildest beasts in the quadrant, and volcanically active lands still growing both above and below the surface. Despite the advancement of technology and their warrior lifestyle, the Klingons place great value on natural lands like this, as it allows them to test themselves in the wilds against those creatures that roam them. While not a part of the United Federation of Planets, depending on the area you arrive in, you may still be afforded the opportunity to explore and experience these wild lands. As of the late 24th century, the Klingon government places no restrictions on visitors looking to test their mettle in battle as long as they register their presence with the high authorities. Tours of these lands are available, though visitors are expected to provide their own survival gear and amenities. Wild targ hunting is considered one of the most popular outdoorsman activities around, and a good hunt can not only net you a fine meal, but a worthy song or two upon arriving back at civilization. One such location ripe for hunting is the Almiron Preserve, a protected and unspoiled tract of land that circles the first city. This is a popular destination for tourists, so get your place in line early to beat the holiday rush. For those of you seeking a more scenic experience, head over to the Hulth-Herg region of Konos. From here, you can witness frequent meteor showers that light up the sky, as well as get an amazing view of the debris ring left over from the destruction of a Klingon moon, Praxis. Volcanologists and spelunkers alike will marvel at the amazing network of caverns and caves below the planet's surface. Additionally, the Christok volcano, mightiest of the 12 Sisters as it is called, presents a combination of beauty and power that is hard to miss. It is said that here, the great Klingon warrior Kahless forged the first Batleth, so expect pilgrims and tourists alike when visiting this grand location. Note that the planet has over the last couple of centuries increased in seismic activity, so it is advised to take extreme precautions when visiting such areas. History and beauty. While it may seem counterintuitive when visiting a future where every star and planet is within your reach, Earth itself has many new sights that you can't experience in the present and won't want to miss. What's in Bozeman, Montana? This is the home to the galaxy-famous Zephyrin Cochrane's first warp speed launch on April 5, 2063. From this site, using a repurposed ICBM redubbed the Phoenix following the end of World War III, Cochrane launched spaceward and activated mankind's first warp-capable engine, drawing the attention of the Vulcans and kicking off humanity's trek to the stars. To commemorate this historic event, Bozeman is now site to the famous Cochrane Museum tucked away within the natural woodland splendor. Grab a drink and enjoy some music at Cochrane's favorite bar, the Crash and Burn, before admiring the 30-foot-tall statue of Zephyrin Cochrane himself, pointing upwards unto the great unknown of space. You can also visit the historic Warp 5 complex, the research facility where humanity developed the more powerful Warp 5 engine that thrust Captain Jonathan Archer and the original Enterprise to adventure. Looking to have a 24th century sideways wine tour experience? Make sure to stop in La Barre, France for a taste of the famous Chateau Picard line of wines. Founded by the family of the famous Captain Jean-Luc Picard, these wines are reputed throughout the quadrant for their quality and flavor. Make sure to bring some bottles home to share with friends. Following the Hermosa quake of 2047, what was once Los Angeles was sunk 200 meters below sea level and became one of Earth's largest coral reefs. Visitors can enjoy tours below the waves to experience thousands of different ocean species living in what was once one of the world's largest cities, though to preserve this natural beauty, please refrain from touching any of the coral. Travelers from the past may be surprised to discover what is known as the Zindi Scar, stretching 4,000 kilometers from southern Florida to Venezuela, a deep chasm created by an attack on Earth in the mid-22nd century, perpetuated by the race known as the Sphere Builders. A memorial to the 7 million lives lost is located in San Francisco. No trip to the Federation is complete without a visit to Starfleet Academy. Modeled under the same principles as modern military academies such as West Point, Starfleet Academy is located in San Francisco just north of the Golden Gate Bridge, and molds brave young students into the representatives of the Federation at home and abroad. The Visitor Center provides presentations on Academy training, lifestyle, and history, and offers tours of the grounds, which have stood since 2140. Visitors are welcome to cheer on the Academy during major sporting events held throughout the year. Outstanding Parisi Squares champions 3 years standing. And of course, you're not making the most of a trip to the future unless it includes a visit to the moon. Check out the Apollo Museum. Peace and quiet. Known throughout the quadrant as the Pleasure Planet, no other place within Federation borders can match the tropical beauty and climate of Riza. With a perfectly climate-controlled atmosphere and 2 lovely suns, this warm, inviting world thrives on making visitors feel welcome and relaxed. Activities on Riza are many and varied, putting any tropical pleasure spot on Earth to shame. Take a dive in crystal-clear beaches as warm as bathwater on virtually any coast on the planet, such as Suraya Bay, or lounge on a comfy chair on the sand with a book in your hand as you watch the sun set over the horizon on Temtibi Lagoon. For the more adventurous, jetpack tours of the planet's many lush islands are available, allowing visitors to marvel at the once volcanic landscapes now populated by curious monkeys, colorful tropical birds, and forests shaded by some of the largest palm trees in this sector. The nightlife on Riza is an endless party, with dance competitions, fireworks displays, and beach bonfires being held at any reputable location. This skyrockets tenfold when the annual Lolonot Festival is in full swing. And for those looking for some casual companionship, the Rising people are well reputed for being both friendly and adventurous. Here's a little tip. If you're looking for someone to share some time with, place a small wooden totem known as a horgan nearby. You'll draw the right kind of attention.
Extreme Adventure!
If you're looking for the wild frontier, a stop at one of the Federation's outermost posts is a must. Deep Space Nine once orbited the distant world of Bajor, and now stands as the Federation's first line of diplomacy and defense on the edge of the wormhole, a stable passage linking one side of the galaxy to the next. Don a spacesuit and take a walk across the surface of this imposing station, catching sight of the marvelous wormhole as it opens and closes to passengers. Some say this is the celestial temple to the gods of Bajor, the prophets. But whether it's the home to aliens or gods, the wormhole leads to one of the most dangerous spots in the galaxy, the ruthless empire known as the Dominion. On board DS9, as it's called, you can experience much of the wild and unrestricted world beyond the borders of the Federation without getting in too deep. Alien races of all kinds make their way through the station's halls and its popular promenade, giving you an unfettered view as to what lies beyond the UFP's borders. Many legitimate shops and establishments line the promenade, from Andorian fast food joints to Vulcan consulates, from squid vendors to sprockets to cybernetics vendors. One of DS9's most popular destinations is Quarks, a fully stocked Ferengi bar complete with gambling tables, multiple holodecks, and even more recently an Earth dartboard. If you're looking to get the most adventurous experience at DS9, you'll want to visit during the post-Cardassian occupation years, shortly after the station was acquired by the Federation. Before this, it was a dismal mining station populated by slaves and soldiers. Following the occupation, Deep Space Nine was home to alien invasions, godly battles, religious extremism, and political intrigue. It's hard to find a more extreme time and location than this. Souvenirs. No one wants to come home empty-handed when visiting the future, though it is here that you may encounter some challenges on your trip. The Department of Temporal Affairs takes preserving the timeline very seriously, and are extremely apprehensive about allowing time travelers from the past to leave with their advanced technology. Unless you find some way to smuggle such devices clandestinely, an activity we don't recommend, you may be forced to leave with little more than pictures and experiences. Still, there are some items that you can get your hands on that shouldn't cause too much of a stir. As we noted before, beverages such as Chateau Picard, Andorian Ale, Klingon blood wine, or even the harder-to-acquire Romulan Ale will make great gifts for those back home. You can share your culinary experiences as well as bring home some Bajoran Hasperat, essentially a burrito so hot it literally burns the tongue, or Rokeg blood pie from the Klingon homeworld. Textiles and fashions from the future can make excellent gifts, such as the fanciful El Alurian hat, or perhaps a Tholian silk scarf, though note the latter can be quite costly and difficult to obtain. If a visit to Deep Space Nine is on your itinerary, make sure to stop by Garek's Clothiers for all your fashion needs. And if all else fails, bring your friends some moon rocks. They can't give enough of those away here. It is highly advised not to bring any fauna discovered on your journey back with you, as such creatures could disrupt or even destroy an ecosystem it is introduced to. Take an example, the soft, seemingly adorable creature known as the Tribble, which has been brought into environments that its ravenous appetite and prolific breeding have subsequently obliterated. Closing. Out of any tourist destination spot, the Federation is truly without limits. Thousands of civilizations, each with a culture, landscape, or adventure that stands out from the rest. This may leave you too spoiled for choice, but you can be sure that when it comes to a time and space tourism experience, space is truly the final frontier. Let's go! Thanks for watching. Have a favorite spot in the world of Star Trek you're dying to check out? Leave us a comment below. And remember to hit like, subscribe, and the notification bell for all our upcoming tourism content. See you next time!